Welcome back to the channel, where we bring you the most electrifying updates, hot takes, and inside scoops that every true Dallas Cowboys fan lives for. Today, we've got something special that's bound to fire up the entire Cowboys Nation. While much of the offseason buzz has been filled with speculation, controversy, and debate, ESPN just delivered a dose of unexpected positivity that's got fans talking coast to coast. That's right, ESPN has officially named a player as Dallas' biggest surprise and dubbed him one of the biggest winners of the entire NFL offseason. It's not one of the usual headline names like Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, or CeeDee Lamb. Nope. It's someone who quietly grinded behind the scenes, stepped into the spotlight, and is now earning the recognition that could change his entire NFL trajectory and maybe, just maybe, change the outcome of the Cowboys' upcoming season. So, let's break it down, dive deep into who this player is, why ESPN is so high on him, and what it means for the Cowboys going forward. Now, let's rewind a bit. The Cowboys had one of the most unpredictable off-seasons in recent memory. Fans were frustrated by the lack of flashy free agent signings. There were rumblings about contract disputes, the future of Dak Prescott, and even trade speculation surrounding key players. But amid all the chaos, this one player rose from the shadows and became the off-season's breakout darling, according to ESPN analysts. His name? Jalen Tolbert. That's right, folks, the second-year wide receiver who barely made waves during his rookie campaign is now turning heads and flipping narratives across the league. You see, when the Cowboys drafted Tolbert out of South Alabama in the third round of the 2022 NFL Draft, expectations were sky high. He was praised for his size, route running, and explosiveness, and many believed he'd slide right into the WR3 role behind CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup. But the NFL transition was rougher than expected. Tolbert struggled to pick up the playbook, saw minimal playing time, and was ultimately overshadowed by veterans and other emerging talent. By the end of the 2022 season, many fans had already written him off. But here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. Fast forward to the 2024 offseason, and something changed. Tolbert reportedly came into OTAs and minicamp looking faster, stronger, and more confident than ever before. Coaches started whispering about his route precision, his improved chemistry with Dak Prescott, and his leadership in the receivers' room. By the time training camp rolled around, those whispers had turned into loud proclamations. ESPN took notice. Analysts like Dan Graziano and Jeremy Fowler began highlighting Tolbert not just as a pleasant surprise, but as someone who could fundamentally alter the shape of the Cowboys' offensive strategy. Let's talk numbers and production. In minicamps, Tolbert consistently ran with the first team, often lining up opposite CeeDee Lamb in two receiver sets. According to insider reports, he caught nearly everything thrown his way and made contested catches over top corners like Trayvon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore. This wasn't just practice hype. Coaches confirmed that Tolbert had taken a major leap in his understanding of the playbook, pre-snap reads, and route discipline. One assistant coach reportedly told ESPN, "It's like we're seeing a different person. This is not the same Tolbert from last year. He's locked in, physically dominant, and mentally sharp." So why does ESPN's recognition matter so much? Well, for starters, they have a massive national platform and reach a huge audience of football fans, analysts, and even NFL front office personnel. When ESPN highlights a player as an off-season winner, it not only boosts that player's confidence, it sends a message to the rest of the league. It puts defenses on notice. It forces coordinators to factor in that player during game planning. And more importantly, it gives fans something tangible to root for. In a time when contract negotiations and off-field drama dominate headlines, seeing a young player emerge as a legitimate threat is refreshing. Tolbert's rise also has massive implications for the Cowboys' offense. With Brandon Cooks aging and Michael Gallup's status still uncertain following inconsistent performances, The Cowboys desperately needed someone to step up and provide depth and explosiveness in the receiving corps. If Tolbert continues this momentum into preseason and carries it into the regular season, he could become that crucial third weapon that opens up the field for Lamb, creates mismatches, and keeps defenses honest. It could also reduce pressure on Dak Prescott and make play calling easier for offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. But let's not sugarcoat it, this wasn't just about talent. Tolbert's resurgence is a story of grit, resilience, and hard work. He reportedly stayed in Dallas throughout much of the offseason, working closely with trainers, watching hours of film, and even linking up with Dak Prescott during unofficial throwing sessions. One source said that Tolbert would arrive at the Star before sunrise and leave long after most players had hit the showers. That kind of dedication is exactly what the Cowboys need if they're going to finally get over the playoff hump and make a real Super Bowl push. And fans are noticing. Social media has lit up with posts praising Tolbert's growth. Cowboys message boards and Reddit threads are filled with optimism, with many fans calling him the potential X factor of the offense. Some are even going as far as comparing his career path to other late bloomers like Devontae Parker or Nelson Agholor, both of whom had breakout seasons after shaky starts. ESPN's nod gives that optimism a stamp of legitimacy. Of course, every story has its skeptics. There are still doubters who wonder whether Tolbert can translate his off-season heroics into regular season production. After all, he'll be facing real defenses, complex coverages, and the pressure of performing under the bright lights of AT&T Stadium. But here's the thing, ESPN didn't just hand out this praise lightly. Their analysts watched film, talked to coaches, and evaluated Tolbert's performance against other breakout candidates around the league. And in that process, they saw something real, something worth betting on. So where do we go from here? For Jalen Tolbert, the real test begins now. Training camp is just around the corner, and all eyes will be on him to see if he can continue this upward trajectory. Preseason games will be crucial, not just for building momentum, but for proving to the coaching staff that he deserves to be a regular contributor on Sundays. And if he succeeds, the Cowboys' offense might be more dangerous than anyone expected. From a broader perspective, Tolbert's rise could also influence roster decisions. If he locks in the WR3 spot, it might force the Cowboys to reevaluate who they keep on the 53-man roster. It could mean tougher decisions regarding players like Jalen Brooks, Cavonte Turpin, or even newly signed UDFAs. And that kind of competition only strengthens the team overall. Depth becomes a luxury, and the Cowboys' passing game could take on a whole new identity. Let's also not ignore the impact this has on Dak Prescott. For years, critics have argued that Dak can only perform well when surrounded by elite talent. But if Tolbert emerges as a legitimate target, it gives Dak more options and more freedom to read defenses and spread the ball. It reduces the need to force throws to Lamb or lean too heavily on the run game. Essentially, it gives the Cowboys balance, and balance wins championships. ESPN's recognition also adds a chip to Tolbert's shoulder. When you're named a breakout star or off-season winner, expectations skyrocket. But if anyone's equipped to handle that pressure, it's a guy who's already been through the fire of being labeled a bust and worked his way back. He's hungry. He's motivated. And now, he's on the radar. And let's not forget how important this is for the locker room culture. Young players seeing Tolbert's journey unfold will be inspired to push harder, study longer, and compete fiercer. It sends a message: if you work, you'll be rewarded. If you improve, you'll be noticed. That kind of mentality is contagious, and it's exactly what head coach Mike McCarthy wants as he tries to reshape this team's identity heading into the new season. So Cowboys Nation, it's time to rally behind this kid. Jalen Tolbert isn't just a feel-good story, he might be a difference maker. ESPN believes it. The coaching staff believes it. Now it's time for fans to believe it too. As we count down to kickoff, let's keep our eyes on Tolbert, and see just how far this surprise off-season winner can go. Because if he continues on this path, he won't just be a breakout star, he could be a playoff hero. And with that, we'll wrap up today's deep dive. Make sure to let us know in the comments what you think about Jalen Tolbert's rise. Do you see him becoming a reliable WR3? Could he push even higher and become a game changer this season? And what does his emergence mean for the rest of the Cowboys offense? We'll be watching every step of the way, and as always, we'll bring you the latest news, reactions, and breakdowns you can count on. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more Cowboys content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you never miss a moment. This is the season of surprises, and we're just getting started. Stay tuned, stay hyped, and we'll see you in the next one.